Well, hello, friends. Glad you could join us. Welcome to the penultimate round of the season here in Season 14 on a night where Race Day 2016. I feel like we said this kind of same spiel last time when we were at Qatar. Race Day 2016 can win the title tonight. Race Chase will have to outscore Race Day by 10 points if Race Chase wants to take this one to Brazil next time out. Interesting qualifying session that we had. Shariah Coleslaw will start on pole, mainly because about 5 minutes into the session, rain started absolutely pissing it down. And unfortunately, not a lot of cars got some good running in. Race Day does start second, about a tenth behind Shariah. Travis Scott starts third, actually having put his best time in on the mediums. 3 100s behind him will be Element in fourth on the softs. Good result there for Element. Fifth will be Cali Robb and Race Chase behind him in sixth, both setting their times on the inters. Nicky and Gottney Weeb seventh and eighth, both on the softs. Lancey and King Pro, his teammate, ninth and 10th. Fifth row lockout for the V-carbs there, also on the intermediate tires. Scornsey only set one lap, 12 seconds behind on the inters. Houdini and Gunner did not put a time on the board. According to my sources, we should have potential for rain today. According to, I believe it was Shariah, 72% chance of rain in this session. Will it happen? I'm not sure. I really don't know. I don't know what to think. As it turns out, I will look at, as I do look at the Discord here, confirming that Scornsey was upset with King Pro player. Allegedly that King Pro had blocked his hot lap. We didn't get a good look at that one. I'm not sure if that's true or false, but Scornsey was not happy with him. So again, only 2 rounds left in this campaign. Belgium right now, and Brazil next time out. Take a look at the drivers and constructor standings. Now, yet again, Race Chase needs to outscore Race Day here by 10 points to be able to take this title run into the final round at Brazil. It's currently a 69-point gap there. Very nice gap there for Race Day. 673 to 604. The maximum amount of points you can score in the race on pure finishing position alone is 60 points for the win. So I think that's kind of what Race Chase has to do, at least next round, if he does have that title run be available next time out. Cali Robb in third. He was pretty much out of contention. I don't know about that. Only 28 points behind Race Chase in second. So yeah, well, yeah, about 100 points. So he's definitely within the 120 that are absolutely possible here in these final 2 rounds. So Cali Robb is not technically out of it yet. Those are your top 3 in the drivers. As far as the constructors are concerned, we got a good battle going on here. The Saubers of Shariah and Race Chase, the top team of the constructors, only by 40 points. Over the Ferraris in second. Cali Robb, of course, as you can see, the lone Ferrari on the grid tonight. The Williams in third, the McLaren's fourth, the Aston's fifth, Mercedes sixth, Red Bull seventh, V-Carb eighth, the Alpines in ninth, and the Haas in 10th. So we look at the tire compounds that have been chosen here tonight. Shariah Coleslaw will start on the softs. Again, he's predicted a lot of rain on the way. 72% chance that we do get rain in this session. And from what I can tell, that looks like it's going to happen sooner rather than later. When you have a lot of these guys start on these soft tires, that tells me that they are expecting this rain to happen before the initial pit window, which is between lap 10 and 14 for the softs to the mediums, according to our graphic there at the bottom of the screen. Race Day has started on the hard. He's the only the driver to have gone hard this occasion. Travis Scott, Cali Robb, and Race Chase also have gone medium. So only 4 drivers have not chosen the hards here. Have not chosen the softs here. And I think the point of that is that these guys here, those 4 drivers are, I think they're kind of expecting the rain around the same point. Race Day is kind of hoping maybe a little bit later. I think for Travis Scott, Cali Robb, and Race Chase, they all just want that good tire at the end of the run when the rain does happen. I think that's kind of what we're looking at. Everybody else it wants to get the race going, pretty much soon, in a sense of let's get going, let's get the overtaking done, let's cement ourselves in a good position to be able to win this race. Into La Source, the top 2 cars. Look at this one. Race Day on the outside, Shariah on the inside. Race Day is potentially 22 laps away from winning a title here in Season 14. Can he do it? We're about to find out. The lights are out, and away we go. Shariah does get a damn good start into that first corner. Travis Scott has cleared race day. Element is looking forward as well. Oh, goodness me, it's 4 abreast. It's like NASCAR into this first corner. Callie Robb goes up the inside, takes them all. Up to second. Race day and Travis Scott side by side. Exiting La Source, heading up the hill through Eau Rouge and Radion. They do eventually get themselves sorted here. Race Chase will remain in 7th, exiting the top of the hill and down the Kemmel Straight, heading into Lacombe's chicane. Will it be anything being made here? Element will get round Travis Scott. Callie Robb is not going to be close enough. Race Day will also not be able to make a move at the Ferrari. Bit of shuffling going on there. Nikki and Travis wheel to wheel. They're heading in towards Malmedy. And as they exit Malmedy and head down into Brussels, it looks as if, again, hopefully at least, everybody's got themselves sorted except for Scornsey to the inside of Race Chase. This is a massive move here for Race Chase because if he is not able to defend from Scornsey, he is putting himself in an even deeper hole here to begin this Grand Prix. Down the hill towards the double left at Puhan. Maybe now will I jinx myself one more time, saying we've got ourselves calm and comfortable here, and it certainly appears so. Shariah Coleslaw, having started on those soft tires, has held the lead. Callie Robb, well, I thought maybe a bit of a connectivity issue there, stays in second. He has gained 3 spots on the opening start. Race Day is down 1. Element has remained the same. It's been a good start here for the Haas, as we do have Race Day. Oh, and Race Day's into the barriers, exiting Stavilo now, and he's lost a hell of a lot of the front wing as well. It's all going to hell now for Race Day. I think maybe what he's done is going through campus, that first part of that double right-handed kind of section there, has he clipped the gravel on the outside exiting the corner, and he's put it in the barriers exiting Stavilo. That is terrible for Race Day, although what I will say is this, thankfully for him, there's no barrier there immediately on the outside of that corner. That would have absolutely have been a DNF there, should that have been the case. Race Day instead will just have to get a new front wing, and he'll be able to stay on track. Remember, Race Chase needs to outscore. Scornsey's going to get around Race Chase going up through Eau Rouge. Race Chase needs to outscore Race Day here by 10 points realistically to be able to keep this one going into Brazil next round. I can get all the correct calculations there eventually, as the 2 V-carbs are going to swap themselves round now. For the time being, Race Chase is in a good position. Of course, again, realistically for Race Chase to even have I don't want to say genuine opportunity next round in Brazil, but he almost has to finish podium here. If he doesn't, you know, it is basically just leaving it up to Race Day to have to finish the Grand Prix next week to be able to win the title. 4/10 of a second between the top 2. Callie Robb holding very well on those medium tires in which he finds himself on. The rest of the grid have kind of, gotten themselves okay here. Travis Scott and Race Chase, both having started on the mediums, did fall back quite a few spots. So did Race Day, but not because of the tires, because of his error. Exiting Stavilo now. And going through Blanchimont, coming up next and heading in towards that chicane to round out the back end of the lap here. 20 laps to go. And again, potentially rain on the way. We don't know how much, we don't know when, but it does seem as if, according to Shariah, that we will be having rain here. Beginning the 3rd lap of the Grand Prix, the top 2 have actually set themselves quite far ahead from the rest of the grid, as we do have, King Pro players into the pit lane. Travis Scott has gone around exiting the final chicane there. I don't believe he's hit anything there to the inside, but that car was definitely full tilt pointed at the barrier on the inside. And now he's gotten himself back going, thankfully enough. It will be a front wing change here. No. Quick stop from King Pro. Onto the hard tires. This is very interesting now. Gottney Weeb will get around Element now. Element having the DRS. Look at Scornsey down the inside. Oh, he's going to want both of them, and he'll have it. If he gets around Gottney Weeb, they're wheel-to-wheel going through Lacombe and into Malmedy. And Gottney Weeb will be able to hold it around the outside. Element having a peek at the rear end of Scornsey there as they make their way into Brussels. Element has had a halfway decent start so far. Although now down 2 position, he is still right in the thick of it here, KSI. As down the hill into the double left at Puhan, Callie Robb has gotten that gap to Shariah to within 2/10 of a second. It's getting very dicey now amongst those top few. As Lancey's gotten around Gunner, although Lancey just there has probably picked up a track limits warning, having gone wide. 3/10 of a second between Shariah and Callie Robb heading into Campus and Stavilo now. And look at the amount of battery that Cali Rob has saved up as well. 94% to Shariah's 50. So Shariah having to use it slightly defensively. As Cali Rob has saved it up pretty much entirely. He'll be looking to hold on to that as long as he can. Oh, into the braking zone there. I tell you what, Cali Rob was slightly late on the brakes there. You can just faintly see some clouds beginning to form that way. As down the pit straight, heading into the first corner, Cali Rob again. Probably not going to try anything into this first corner. You don't really see overtakes made into La Source here unless it's the opening lap or unless we're getting done with a safety car. It's just not really going to happen. Down the Support Series pit straight and up the hill in towards Al Rouge and Radion. The question is now, will Cali Rob be able to get around Shariah knowing how much energy store he does have? 0.2 of a second in closing. Cali Rob will send it around the outside, and realistically, even before that DRS comes to its opening there, Cali Rob does have the lead. MWeS has got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. I believe he's gone off track there somewhere around Al Rouge Radion. Race Day does now have the fastest lap. That's an interesting little thing to keep track of there. Considering you do get a point for the fastest lap. Hard Charger as well. The lap, but that really won't go down to Race Day, as even if he does make his way back to the lead, he'll only have gained a net 1 position. So yeah, I think realistically, Race Chase here has just got to do his job. That's got to be the thing here for Race Chase. Just do your job, and you'll probably be okay. Of course, the rain is on the way, but Race Chase right now cannot worry about what Race Day's doing, about how he's doing, about how far behind he is. He just has to drive a clean race, because again, this is a very difficult circuit, as we can see the leader of the Grand Prix now picking up 3 seconds of penalty. It is just outright a very difficult circuit to keep round, and I think Scornsy now might have a look at Nikki64 heading in towards the final chicane here. Scornsy, is he going to try the inside? Scornsy is looking a little bit gutsy here. He's definitely having a go. Later on the brakes down to the inside, Scornsy, the consummate professional that he is, has made his way up to the 3rd spot, having started, by the way, P11. He did have a bit of front wing go missing there from somebody. Was it the Haas of Element? Yes, it is. He's missing the end plate on the right side of the front wing. I believe did he get into the back end of Race Chase into the chicane? That would be kind of my guess there, as that car has unexplainably lost a bit of it. No DRS this time for Shariah heading down the Kemmel straight and into Lacombe, as we kind of expected. Scornsy now has to defend from Nikki64. Nikki and MWeS have a good little train going here in towards the chicane. MWeS trying it around the right-hand side. Nikki being forced to use all of the curb there on the inside. Wheel-to-wheel still exiting Malmedy heading into Brussels. This is a brilliant battle here. Usually it would have been sorted by now, but no. It's still wheel-to-wheel. It's still side-by-side. Race Chase, meanwhile, is hoping that something drastic happens. MWeS is going to try to switch Nikki here, heading in towards Puhan, and eventually he will just kind of form his way in behind, and in behind the Aston there. I don't necessarily believe that you're going to find too many moves happen into that section. Meanwhile, if you're wondering, end of the second period between Canada and the United States. It is 2-2. Sam Bennett was the goal scorer there for the Canadians. Making their way into La Source now. Oh, MWeS, but unfortunately I believe is having some connectivity issues there. I can see him bouncing all over the screen for me at least. Now on our way through the 6th lap of this Grand Prix. Of the 22 scheduled. Again, there does appear to be rain in the forecast. When it will happen, I'm not entirely sure. We're looking at some pretty blue skies for the time being, but will that change? I'm thinking so. You can see it is starting to cloud up that way. Or maybe is that just a little bit of haze? I'm not too sure. Houdini has gotten around Element heading into Lacombe chicane. He's now up to the 7th spot. MWeS is about a 10th and a half behind Nikki, although Weeb is well having a 3-second penalty. Scornsy for the time being is actually I was going to say, the Scornsy's actually losing a bit of time to Shariah Coleslaw. It was about 4 seconds. Not too long ago. It's about 5.5 now. Scornsy, is he potentially trying to conserve this set of soft tires? That would kind of be my guess. Shariah is not exactly even really getting closer to Cali Robb as well. It's been 1.4 seconds, second and a half for probably the past 3-4 laps, I would say. Ever since Cali Robb took that lead around Shariah Coleslaw, this is pretty much the gap at which it's been at, but Scornsy is consistently losing time here to the top two. I do think Scornsy is conserving. Gotney Weeb to the back end of Nicky 64, heading through Blanchimont and in towards the chicane coming up now. Gotney Weeb is not going to be in any position to make something happen that time, although Travis Scott, wheel-to-wheel here with Element. Still wheel-to-wheel. A bit of a slide there under braking for Travis Scott. I don't believe he got into the Haas, although he'll have a bit of difficulty getting back on throttle. By the way, for what it's worth, I do believe this is our final installment of the season of no racing line allowed. Grand Prix here in Division 1. I'll just confer with the schedule. And yes, that's absolutely true. Final no-line race of the season here as the league continues to try to kind of experiment with that. I think it's not too bad. I think genuinely, as Element's actually going to lose a couple of spots here, both the Gunner and Travis. Unfortunately for Element, he is slightly heading downhill, unfortunately. What I was going to say is this. I think genuinely these no-line races have actually kind of helped our proceedings quite a lot. I do enjoy it. You know, and I think these guys, when you're in Division 1, you have driven these F1 games enough to know, you know, your way around the circuit. The racing line is pretty much just for braking zones. And to now have that added difficulty thrown into the mix of, you know, really having to guess what your braking zone is based on your tires, based on who's around you and how close they are, I think it does add a little bit of excitement here to what is already a fantastic Division 1 grid. About to begin our 8th lap of the Grand Prix. All 13 cars that have started this race are still on track. Second and a half separates Cali Robb from Shariah Coleslaw. Of course, Cali having that 3-second time penalty. Nicky 64 within 2.5 tenths of Scornsy here, heading in towards the chicane now. And I do believe Nicky's going to absolutely have a look at this move here very shortly. It seems like it has been brewing for quite some time. Element is now going to pick up a 3-second penalty, unfortunately. Up the hill through Al Rouge and Radion. Gotney Weeb, by the way, is actually now somewhat closer actually to that of Nicky. And to the inside of the Aston Martin here. Oh, is Gotney Weeb going to go for both of them? Yes, he does. Double overtake there for Gotney Weeb. He has both Nicky 64 and Scornsy. And matter of fact, the Aston of Scornsy's actually, the Aston of Nicky's actually going to be overtaking Scornsy as well. In those proceedings, too. Again, we think Scornsy might be trying to conserve those soft tires as much as he possibly can. I will say this, it is starting to have some clouds form now. Nothing, I would say, severe. I think genuinely, if we do get some rain, it is looking like it's going to be towards the back end of the session. Cali Robb leads this one, 2.5 seconds over Shariah, 6.4 ahead of Gotney Weeb, and a good battle now going on for this third spot with Nicky 64 trying to close in. Heading in towards the chicane now. Let's see if Nicky tries anything here on Gotney Weeb. I don't believe he will. Scornsy's gone a slight bit deep into that braking zone. Oh, Nicky's gotten a little bit wiggly there, getting back on the throttle. Tell you what, that's going to be Shariah into the pit lane. Shariah pitting now. Let's see what he decides to do. It's going to be medium tires here for Shariah. Maybe that rain is not looking too good either. Weeb trying his best to get around Scornsy. I think maybe some contact was potentially made. Between them, Weeb was temporarily ghosted there, heading through Brussels now. Down the hill through Puan. And for the time being, Scornsy is back ahead of this battle. Weeb is about a tenth and a half behind. And has not quite yet been able to challenge that of Scornsy. Maybe are we going to be looking at the tire window here come up to the point where we start getting a more of a strategical battle than on track. I'm hoping that's not necessarily the case. I love on-track battles, and by God, here in Division 1, we do have quite a lot of them. But it does have to be said, it doesn't feel like the rain is going to happen. We did have it in the qualifying session, as I mentioned. Nikki64 into the pit lane now. Weeb's actually going to get around Scornsy, exiting the final corner. Nikki into the pit lane, I'm assuming to the mediums here. That looks like it's going to be hard tires for Nikki64. That's a little bit bold. I don't know. Interesting choice here. It does look like this race might just stay dry after all. Sorry to have rage-baited you there. 8 laps on those tires for race day 2016, as currently Race Chase has just taken both Weeb and scored. Oh, maybe not! Goodness me, he's held it together. No front wings have been lost. Everybody carry on, having a bit of deep breath. Race Chase had nearly gotten around Weeb heading into the Lacombe chicane. They were side by side. Contact was made. Both cars were kind of stacked up there. As now Scornsy trying it around the outside of Race Chase through the speaker's corner. And he's got it as well. What an unconventional place to make something happen. The opportunity was there, and Scornsy took it. And Race Chase, who I was just about to compliment here, has done a great job so far today, and is obviously on the good end of the strategy battle, considering Race Day probably is going to have to stop again. He's been overtaken there. He'll fall back to 4th. But for the time being, it looks as if Weeb will begin to pull ahead of Scornsy here. No guarantee. Race Chase also in pursuit as well. Again, we're assuming that the majority of these fellas that are started on the soft tire will be pitting here shortly. A lot of the top 6 cars have still yet to stop here. We'll have to wait and see if that changes. Kelly Robb decides not to. Weeb is our next driver. Nope, he will choose not to. Scornsy, however, will. Again, cloud covers, potentially. I think I'm kind of reaching there, I'm not going to lie. That's all right, though. Lancey into the pit lane. We have Travis Scott, I believe, has just gotten around Shariah, potentially. Race Chase has stayed out an additional lap, so has Weeb. Of course, the top 4 cars now still have yet to stop. Seems like everybody in this immediate round of stops here, from Scornsy, Houdini, Lancey, Element, have all chosen the medium tires as opposed to Nikki, who actually chose the hards. Nikki, the only driver to have purposefully chose the hards here on this pit window. We are halfway through this Spa Belgian Grand Prix, and coming up on 10 laps to go here momentarily at the stripe next time by. Race Chase still trails Weeb by only just a couple of tenths here. Weeb, of course, does have the 3-second penalty to his name, which I believe is probably going to quite come into play here soon. See, that way, that looks like a lot more cloud cover than what we've got throughout the rest of the circuit, I'll be honest, although it is starting to get slightly more cloudy than it was not too long ago. Just a reminder, the top 3 cars still have yet to stop. Kelly Robb will remain out on track. Weeb will pit now. Travis Scott, I believe, might be coming in soon. No, he's chosen not to. Of course, he started on the race on those medium tires, as well as Race Chase, as well as Kelly Robb. I'm not entirely sure that this kind of overcut being played here by those in the mediums is actually going to work. It's going to have to, though, realistically, because, you know, if they do get to that point where they need to stop, they will be to the soft tires. The only problem is if it does rain, they will have to make an additional second stop, which I don't like for them. That does not sound like a very good idea to me. Closest battle on track is that of Lancey back to Houdini. We've had 12 laps uninterrupted Grand Prix racing here among the 13 drivers that have started this race who continue to drive this race here. Now, this is the closest battle on track at the moment, considering the recent tire strategies and pit windows, as Lancey will get around Houdini there. And he'll be trying to make his way back up to Gottney Weeb there for the 9th spot. Lancey also on time penalty. These kind of 3 drivers in that equation there, as well as you could also put Gunner in that conversation as well, all on relatively similarly aged medium tires. Gottney Weeb actually the freshest out of the 3 in that conversation. King Pro Player now actually has himself within 4/10 of Travis Scott here, heading in through the back end of Sector 2, heading towards Campus and Stavelo. Travis Scott actually got a little bit loosey-goosey coming off of the curbing there on the inside, and has to really avoid the outside curb there of Campus, and now exiting Stavelo. I think Travis Scott might be on 2 warnings here, additionally, compared to the 3-second penalty that he already has. We talk about it as well from time to time that, you know, once you're a driver, once you get... This is how the mentality goes as a driver when you've got these track limits warnings. First one, don't panic. Second one, really panic. Third one, you're back to chill. And you've got 3 more to use before your next penalty. So Travis Scott now, I would say, has accumulated probably 5 track limits warnings. You can see he is actively avoiding the curbing there, at least through the back half of Sector 2. So I would think that car might just be on 5 warnings, and the next one will be his 6th second and penalty. King Pro Player will now go around the outside of Travis Scott and will take the 4th spot. What I will say is this: the cloud cover that we thought was coming, didn't think was coming, is definitely coming now. It's coming hard as well. You can see it's definitely quite gray over there. I'm sure that one will be used in a TikTok montage somewhere along the line, but anyway. Down the hill in towards Brussels, again, one of the closer battles we have on track, as the grid has kind of spread themselves out even here after the pit window. Race Day 2016, I think, is actually, this is going to sound pretty interesting, Race Day is actually appearing to benefit quite a lot from having to make that early stop. He's taken these medium tires, and now about to begin the 14th lap of the Grand Prix. He might be okay if and when that rain does begin. I think he's actually going to be in a quite good spot. Gunner's picked up his first 3-second penalty of the day. Race Chase, the championship 2nd place, currently 2nd place on the grid. Remember, he has to outscore Race Day here by, I think, at least 10 points. Speaking of that, let's check the fastest lap. That belongs to Lancey for the time being. Hard Charger will not belong to Race Day, considering he started 2nd. And even if he wins this race, he'll be at a net 1 position. Travis Scott is going to be overtaken by both Race Day and Scornsey there, going through Blanchimont. That is such a bold place to try to make something happen. Very risky, very much side-by-side affair. Travis Scott is into the pit lane. It is getting quite gray. This, in the grand scheme of a dry race, would mean nothing. Is this a cry for the intermediate tires here if the rain is going to start soon? No. To the soft tires for Travis Scott. Well, you had me guessing there for a minute, and tell you what, I think that definitely would have been an interesting play there for Travis Scott. One that could have potentially, you know, really got him in position to even, I would say, even win this Grand Prix if he could make it happen. But as it turns out, he'll just go to the softs. It is quite dark and gloomy out there, it has to be said. We are within the last 10 laps of this Grand Prix, with the skies very, very gray. A safety car now would probably ensure that everybody on track pits for those intermediate tires. We assume that because this race is staying green, that rain is only going to probably happen throughout the last 5 laps, which I don't believe is going to be enough time to actually warrant going to the intermediate tires. The clouds have rolled in quite quickly within the last 5-6 laps. But I think the problem is just with how long it does take to dampen the surface enough for the inters to be a worthy contender. I think that's got to be the question here on the minds of Race Day of Scornsey. Of course, the thing here for Scornsey is he's already stopped. Race Day stopped earlier on with his incident coming out of Stavilo, so I think realistically for Race Day, he's got to hope for this rain to happen sooner rather than later. Scornsy can wait for whenever the hell it does happen. Let's get a look at the penalty tracker. Cali Robb currently atop the grid, although does have 3 seconds of penalty to his name. Shariah Coleslaw second. Damn good day for Shariah, albeit it doesn't appear for the time being that he's going to be in contention to win this one after having started on pole, but he is, for all intents and purposes, doing a very good job out there. Race Chase sitting third at the moment. Again, pretty much needs to outscore Race Day by 10 points here to take this into Brazil. And for what it's worth, if we look at the point structure, P3 to P6, third place is warranted at 52 points, P6, 44. Race Chase for the time being will be 2 points shy of taking this round, taking this championship battle into Brazil. And that is, of course, as well to say that even when they do get to Brazil, as the current result holds, if Race Chase does find the extra 2 points, 3 points, whatever it may be, even then, the next round would essentially have to be a Race Day retirement, you know, in a DNF prior to 90%. And it would be Race Chase so long as he could win. Yeah, it has to be said, the odds are kind of stacked here for Race Chase, but anything can happen. I tell you what, it probably should have been that championship crown last time out in Qatar. Absolutely could be and should be today. But again, who knows what's going to happen? It's definitely not me. Cali Robb is into the pit lane here. Cali Robb, I believe as well, has yet to stop. No, this will be his first pit stop of the session onto the soft tires. So what this is telling me now, the fact that we're seeing some of these guys pit for fresh softs, that is saying to me that the rain is going to happen, but it's going to happen too late to consider putting on the intermediate tires. You would want to put on the softs, even albeit if it is a slick compound, if the rain does start falling, it is still the tire which is going to maintain the most heat. It is still the tire with the most grip. So, as we have a yellow flag heading into La Source, it is Nicky64. He has backed it round. Only just. I thought we were in for something slightly more severe there. I apologize, but either way. But as I was saying, that is the tire that's going to hold the most heat. It has the most grip. So, for, you know, say the final 5 laps of the Grand Prix where the rain is happening and falling, that soft tire will be okay until probably that final lap, final 2 laps. But at that point, you're just not going to stop for the inters. You're just not going to do it. So that is obviously the very million-dollar question on mine. When is that rain going to happen? How will this grid respond? The line this time will be 6 laps to go in this Belgian Grand Prix. 0.2 of a second between Race Chase and Cali Robb. Of course, Cali Robb's still kind of in this championship battle as well. Let's not forget that. He's not out of it quite yet either. Cali Robb's actually going to get around Race Chase. Of course, Cali with that 3 seconds of penalty, that's going to get slightly difficult, but, you know, either way. Has got any weave? Apparently has just gotten around Race Day. Yes, he has. So Race Day will go back to P7. This is a big one here for Race Day, because again, he's in a position now where if that rain does fall, he can jump first thing onto... Did I just see it? Was that it? I don't quite believe that it is. Usually when the rain begins in these games, several raindrops will fall across the screen in kind of one go. I thought I saw it there temporarily. The biggest way... Scornsy's now got 3 seconds per time penalty. That's massive in the grand scheme of things, and that is definitely rain. The rain is falling. It is streaming off the chassis, as you can see on the halo of Race Day's Mercedes. This is absolutely getting real very quickly. At the line this time by will be 5 laps to go. It could very well be the case that Cali Robb was just a couple of laps conservation shy of being able to hold on to go to the intermediate tires, to be able to pit comfortably and stay in the lead. Race Chase, I think, genuinely himself and Race Day are going to be in such a good position here. This is so massive. Someplace somewhere along the line, a small child has just made a joke about a low taper fade. As they go through the speaker's corner, Gunner's actually gone around there, it seems, or at least he's gone off track temporarily. Shariah Coleslaw, this is massive for him. He's in the lead of this Grand Prix, due in part to the fact that Cali Robb did have to stop, which, again, was just a couple of laps shy of being able to hold on to the end of the dry weather running. Shariah Coleslaw, will he be into the pit lane this time? Yes, he will. Cali Robb has stayed out. This is bold from Cali, because again, 5 laps to go. How long will it take for the rain to compromise the racing surface? That is the absolute question of mine. Scornsy's in, Race Chase is in, King Pro stays out, Race Day is in as well. This is such a massive turn of events here, guys. This race is going to be turned on its head. Intermediates going on, as you can tell. Race Chase, although what I will say is this, has he well, I was about to say, as Shariah's on those intermediates now. I was about to question, had Race Chase been screwed there by Shariah's double stack? DRS has now been disabled. This is the game telling us that the track has been declared wet. Cali Robb has got to come in this time by. He's got 8 seconds to deal with. Matter of fact, back to Shariah, which is the next closest driver on the intermediate tires. He does have 16 seconds. However, you can tell visibly now and audibly, if I was able to let you hear it, audibly by how little he's being on that throttle, that Ferrari is absolutely driving on ice right now. Pretty much that's the only equivalent I can think of, is driving on ice at the moment. That car is going to absolutely slip and slide around this circuit, and he's got to find a way to get back to the pit lane here. Again, 15 seconds now. He's lost about a second since I have begun the sentence talking about how far ahead he was. Lancey's going to get around Travis Scott through turn 8 and 9. Shariah Coleslaw has now just gotten around King Pro player. King Pro on the hard tires still. By the way, every compound of tire in effect right now, minus the full wets. This is just an unbelievable turn of events. Cali Robb has got to pit now. Shariah Coleslaw, by the way, is going to be slated to win this Grand Prix. At the line this time, 4 laps to go. Cali Robb into the pit lane. Gottlieb will follow. Shariah Coleslaw will take the lead of the Grand Prix. King Pro player will have to pit now. Unfortunately for him, his bit of a podium is over. Race day. If he gets around Scornsy here, which it appears that he... Oh, that's a big slide for Race Day into the corner. He's accidentally sent it there on Scornsy. Race Chase is absolutely... Race Chase is going to be ahead of Cali Robb. This is massive now. Race Day has Cali Robb and Race Chase between himself. Just to kind of reconfirm what we're after here, as Cali Robb is going to retake second. Again, it would not be enough right now. Race Chase has got to almost win this race. This is a ridiculous turn of event here, guys. Of course, we do also still have the penalty to be applied to Cali Robb. Shariah Coleslaw on his way to winning the Grand Prix. When was the last time you've said that about Shariah in Division 1? I guarantee it wasn't recent. Unless maybe it was, I'm not entirely sure. At the line this time will be 3 laps to go. Race Day, all he's got to do is keep this car on track, and he will be a champion. Here he goes. He's looking forward on Race Chase. Is he going to be able to have it? He has outbraked the Sauber. Could that move right there have just cemented Race Day his 3rd title in Division 1? He will match Ryan Rodds. He will move to joint second on the all-time title list. Scornsy, the only driver with more, at 5. Which, by the way, should this league continue as long as it takes, I think Race Day could absolutely have that possibility. The rain is absolutely still falling here. I'm just searching through to see if Shariah has ever won a Division 1 Grand Prix. I do not believe that he has. As we have a yellow flag, Elements gone round at the double left to Puhan. I mean, this is just right now the potential for one of the most memorable wins in Division 1 history. I kind of remember the last time Shariah's so much as finished on the podium here in Division 1. What I can tell you right now is that he has never won a Division 1 Grand Prix, and he is 3 laps away from doing so. And even so, even better for him, he's in the position now where even if he picks up a 3-second penalty, Cali Robb is still 2.5 seconds away. This is just turning out to be one of the great races in Midwest F1. We've had so much action up and down the grid today. We're on the precipice of race day being crowned champion yet again. Shariah Coleslaw having played everything so perfect today. But what I will say, he is beginning to lose time to Cali Robb. Race day will have to get round him here. And I tell you this, though. No offense to race day, he's already got the championship in the bag. Please allow Shariah to win this race. That's all I'm going to say. Please let it happen. We've got 2 laps to go. Cali Robb is behind. Not just on track, but also with that penalty. Cali Robb, if he keeps ahead of race day here, that will absolutely help Shariah. It's almost down to a second between the top 2. This is just... oh, goodness me, we're going to have a finish for the ages here. Shariah cannot get nervous now. Do not look at that rear view mirror. Hit your marks. Keep within the track limits. Do what you thought probably at times couldn't be done. Exiting La Source, heading up the hill towards Al Rouge and Radion now. You can see visibly he's trying to be careful. He's got a not very good run there at the top of Al Rouge. This could be it for race day. Could he find a way to be able to get around Cali Robb? He has. It's now just up to Shariah. Bit of a slide there through Lacombe. Oh, goodness me. Race day, don't be the heel. Don't take it away from him. Into Brussels. Round the outside. Race day is not going to be able to get on throttle. Gottney Weeba's got 3 seconds of penalty. Race day is about a lap and a half away from claiming his 3rd championship. Will he decide to power it round Shariah? No, Shariah's going to float so wide through Puhan there. Oh, it's risky now, and race day's going to go for it. Into the right-hander, later on the brakes. Oh, it's just such a battle now. Shariah Coleslaw, there's contact made. Cali Robb's gonna go through! Oh, and the problem is now, could that absolutely be a steward report to take Shariah's potential for a win away from him? Oh, I so hope that's not the case. Shariah trying to defend as much as he can through Blanchimont for the penultimate time. It's a half a tenth of a second here between them. Shariah, battle, oh, they've both gone off track now, and yet again the contact has been made. Shariah is battling so furiously now for his maiden win here in Division 1. Race day 2016, again, is just a lap away from claiming the title. Will he go for it all? He's gonna be later on the brakes into La Source. If he holds on to it, the position is his. Can Shariah find better acceleration? Yes, he can. They're wheel to wheel, heading up the hill through Al Rouge and Radion. Oh, goodness me, don't do it like this. Wheel to wheel still, and race day will power around, but Shariah's still there. He's still got a little bit left in the tank as far as energy is concerned. They are about dead on balls even between them on energy store. Race day will cover the line. Shariah will not outbreak him there. Shariah's just got to keep going. He cannot give up now. Into Brussels for the final time. Cali Robb, but oh! Race day's gone wide! Can Shariah capitalize? Cali Robb, by the way, only a couple of tenths away from being able to walk away with the win, despite having the time penalty. Oh, goodness me, Shariah's got to make something happen. He's got to make it happen soon. Oh, it's just not looking too good, I'll be honest. 2.5 seconds between race day and the win and the championship. 9/10 between Shariah and the win. Oh, come on now. Find something in this final stretch. As they exit Stavilo for the final time, Shariah's got to hope that race day picks up a penalty. Even if he does, he still won't win back to Cali Robb. Cali Robb making his way through the final couple of corners. Will he have enough? I'm not sure. But the real winner today, champion for the 3rd time, joins the list of the all-time greats. Race day 2016, crosses the line, wins the Grand Prix, and is champion of the Midwest. Such a heartbreak there for Shariah. He did everything he possibly could have, and he's just a little shy. Race day 2016, your champion. For the 3rd time, joint 2nd on the all-time champions list with Ryan Rods, and Scornsey, of course, still atop the pylon with 5. What a thrilling Grand Prix this has been. And by the way, we still have more next week in Brazil for the final round of the season. For Hotspot, yet again, it has been a pleasure joining you here in Division 1. And we'll see you next time.